Yeah, I'm going to be sharing tips on writing personal statement, good personal statement. So the first tip is that you need to write in a style that is clear and is concise. Yeah, that's the first tip. Not too elaborate, not too complicated. Yeah. So my second tip is that you need to also write in an active voice. In an active voice, you need to write your personal statement in an active voice. Not for example, let's say you completed a placement in 2022, not a placement was completed in 2022. That is not being, your voice is not being active. It has to be active, that you've completed a placement in 2022. That's being active. Your voice is being active. So then the third tip is that you need to structure your statement with short sentences and paragraphs. Short sentences and paragraphs. I think that should be very, very clear enough. Your statement needs to be short sentences and with paragraphs. Yeah, very important. Then my fourth tip is that be as definite as possible in the way you word your statement. For example, saying I hope to do this, then I intend to do this. You need to be definite as possible. You intend to do this for your university after you leave the university. You intend to do that for your community. You intend to do this for various businesses. That's what they want to see. So now my next tip, now the fifth tip, is that you have to make sure that you include every relevant information. You need to include every relevant information in your personal statement. You need to include every relevant. Don't leave any stone unturned. You need to include every relevant information. Include every relevant information. Yeah. Don't leave out any information. Everything relating to the course, why you're picking the course, why you intend to do the course. You need to include it. Then my next tip is that do not overstate your achievements. You don't need to overstate your achievement. Achievement that you did not have, you don't need to add it. Achievement that you saw somewhere, you don't need to add it. Do not overstate your achievement. Yeah. Then do not repeat information. You don't need to be repeating information maybe that you've copied somewhere else. You don't need to repeat information. Just be as concise as possible. Then also avoid using cliche phrases or quotes as opening lines in your for employment aspects. For that, you need to avoid using quotes. Yeah. You need to avoid that. Then you need to proofread. Lastly, you need to proofread your personal statement before submitting. You need to proofread your personal statement. That's very, 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 very important. Proofreading is very important before you submit. So you need to, so that you can know that your work is free from grammatical errors, free from any blunder, anything that, and you can also ask someone to help you review it. You also is also open to reviews. You can also ask somebody to help you review your personal statement. That's very, very. So now I want to also add this as just a tip that things that you need to include in your personal statement. So the first thing is that you need to have a specific reason why you want to do the course. That's one. Then two, a specific reason why you want to do that course at that particular university. Then also you need to give an explanation of how the course relates to what you want to do in the future. Then evidence of your commitment and enthusiasm. They need to know that why do you want to do that course, why do you want to do the course like business management. You need to be and show them by your enthusiasm. Like for example, maybe your parents started a small business when you were small and you help them to run the business, so they be your mentor, all those kind of things. That's what they want to see. Your interest, your enthusiasm, why you want to do the course. Not that they're just giving you the course and you come here and just be playing about all those kind of things. So they need to see your interest. They need to know your interest. They need to see why you want to study at the University of Bath. Why do you want to study at the University of Hull? Why do you want to study at the University of East Anglia? They want to see that. Why do you want to study there? Why do you have an interest in studying there? Maybe, for example, they have a good academic excellence. They are known for a good study environment. They have a good library. They also help to promote inclusion and diversity. That's inclusion and diversity is just about you meeting people from various backgrounds, meeting people from various cultures. That's what it's about. So now I want to also add to this that things that actually needs to be your just a summary. I just want to give a brief summary. So the first thing is your academic achievements, your professional achievements. I'm going to be explaining this one after the other. Then your relevant hobbies and interests. Then if you have skills, communication skills, all those kind of skills. So then I'll be explaining them one after the other. So starting from highlighting your suitability. That means why you want to pick business management. They are suitable for the course. You need to let them know why you're suitable for the course. Maybe you've been doing a small business, you actually run a small business. You need to let them know. Like when I wrote my own personal statement when I entered the University of East Anglia, I put it there that I run a small business, and that's why I want to do a course. I want to know how to manage my business. My parents are the ones that have been guiding me. They be my mentor because they also run a small business. So that's what put me. So that's why they gave me the course. It's not just that they just gave me the course just like that. Then also the second thing is academic achievement. They need to see your academic achievements. Why do what have you done? Why after your undergraduate days? Maybe you've taken up internships. Maybe you've taken up internships. You've taken up leadership roles. All those kind of things. That's what they want to see. Then if you have any job, then professional experiences, achievements is that they need to see your duties at maybe any place you've worked, your responsibilities, all those kind of things. That's what they want to see there. Then also relevant hobbies and achievements. What have you achieved as a person? Your relevant hobbies, what do you like doing best? They want to see that in your personal statement, your interests, what gives you, what makes you happy, all those kind of things. Then achievements, relevant, your achievements also, like skills. Skills. You need to add also skills. What skills have you gained after you finish your undergraduate, or maybe when you are working in a particular place? What skills have you gained? Is it communication skills? Is it leadership skills? Is it presentation skills? Is it group work skills? So that's what they want to see there. Then I want to also add that for you to be suitable for that particular, for them to give you that course, when they see all this in summary, they know that you are going to perform excellently well on that course. You are going to perform excellently well in your assessment. Then also note one thing, that a personal statement must not be more than 400 to 600 words. But most schools, that's always the max. The max is always 500 words. It must not exceed 500. So that's very, very important to while writing your personal statement. Yeah. That's all for now. Bye for now.